Greeting YouTube. Today's story comes out of Idaho. There's a Republican lawmaker in Idaho attempting to stop a law aimed at preventing the deaths of children. Representative Christy Perry, Republican, believes that a law proposed by Democratic Representative John Gannon violates religious freedom of families who believe God's will supersedes modern medicine. And what do I mean by this? Well, here are some examples. Where is it? June 2012, 15-year-old Ariana Jade Grandin contracted food poisoning. Her autopsy showed that 3 days of vomiting ruptured her esophagus, causing her to hemorrhage to death. Toddler Preston John Bowers died at age 22 months of pneumonia in March of 2011. That same month, 14-year-old Rockwell Alexander Seavey died of respiratory infection that blossomed into pneumonia, according to Canyon County Coroner Vicky DeGuz Morris. This is all happening because their parents think that prayer will heal them. Now, I'm a theist, and I believe that prayer can help us. But I also believe in science. And while prayer can help get you into a state of mind that will help you heal, it is not going to fight a virus. It is not going to heal a ruptured esophagus. Now, if you're an adult and you decide to eschew modern medicine, you say, I don't want anything to do with it, that's your right. You're an adult. I'm not going to necessarily agree with you, and I think that you may very well be setting yourself up for horrible health problems down the line and possibly shorten your own life. But as an adult, you can do that as long as it isn't affecting anybody else. But when you start telling minors that are under your legal protection that they cannot access modern medicine, you've crossed a line. That's child abuse, neglect, medical neglect, child endangerment. And that should be illegal. I don't care what your faith is. I would also put circumcision on that list. Mutilating someone else's genitals, regardless of whether they're male or female, is abominable. They're not your genitals. Leave them alone. I would put vaccinations on that list. You don't vaccinate your kid, that should be considered medical neglect. There are people who won't buy into that. Most of them because they believe in myths and falsehoods about vaccinations. We need to protect the children. And we don't do that. We allow parents to make these kinds of decisions, and we shouldn't. Now you're going to say, oh, you're an authoritarian. I don't think I'm being an authoritarian when I want to save the lives of children. And when those kids become adults and they want to eschew modern medicine, go for it. But we need to give them the chance to get to adulthood to make that decision. And these parents are prohibiting their children from reaching adulthood because they're attempting to heal them with prayer. It doesn't seem that complex to me. You don't get to endanger a child just because your faith says you do. We have guidelines. We need to make sure they are followed. Society says we must protect the helpless. Funnily enough, we don't impose that concept onto people in death row. But we should be doing it with the minors. We should make sure that children reach adulthood.